next question for reflection. Where am I looking for freedom? We have an Aquarius full moon on Monday, the 19th at 12:25 p.m. All of these times are mountain time. So if you're not living in mountain time, figure it out for your time zone. There was an Aquarius full moon with all of this other stuff happening. These are all within like hours of each other. So just keep that in mind. And full moons always represent a time when maybe something you're doing or something you're displaying, who you are, you're headed in a certain direction. It's not feeling emotionally good. That's why it can be frustrating. And that's why we have lots of police calls. And then, police calls are different from babies being born. It's just this moment of, I wasn't seeing this, and now the moon is reflecting it, and maybe it was in my subconscious, and the moon's big and bright in the sky, and I can see it more, and it's not feeling good because the sun's here, who I am is here, and the moon's here, how I emotionally feel about it, and they are doing this. They are opposing, making you do this. So it was also squaring Uranus. So a square in astrology is an angsty feeling. It's where two things are coming together. So an opposition is where two things are opposing, right? And oppositions are usually within and without. So something inward is hitting something outward. Usually, it's not always. I've actually been watching these and experimenting with these for a while. It's of the energy, they say oppositions feel like an energy that Saturn brings. And so, like I just said, Saturn brings obstacles and feels like you just can't move forward. Now, Saturn does bring you lots of blessings through time, but it's very a time-oriented thing. So in a full moon in opposition, this might be the first time you're actually seeing it as the moon reflects it to you emotionally. It's heightened emotions. So with that square to Uranus, they say a square is of the same type feeling of Mars, and Mars is angsty friction. It's inward. So Mars can be energy that you want to get out, energy that you're trying to work through. It could be someone's talking to you and it's getting a little heated and you get angry and fight. It could be fighting back. It's usually inward and you're feeling a conflict inward and it comes out of you. So whereas Saturn kind of blocks, Mars, you take action. So where am I looking for freedom? So I'm not saying Mars was involved in this or Saturn. That's just kind of when you hear a square or an opposition in astrology, you can kind of put those with it. You can put those feelings with it because there was two of those at play. There was an opposition and a square, and Uranus is about freedom. It's about experimentation. It's about finding a new way to do something. And Uranus has been really strong this year. It's a Uranus year where you are experimenting and changing and becoming something new in a way that you were very fixed before. So something that maybe it's in Taurus right now, which is a fixed sign, and it's a sign that you kind of got to bulldoze to move. And it's, like I said, been one of the main energies of the year, and it's about to move into Gemini. So if you have something in a fixed sign, that's a maintaining time. It's something you're going to keep the same. A lot of times with fixed signs, they say you change it way later than it was asking to be changed because it has to kind of build up and feel frictious for you. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to swoop it into a double-bodied immutable sign where things change, which is where it's headed into Gemini. So to need freedom and to be looking for freedom and to be starting to experiment and find new ways, there had to be a feeling of rebellion inside of you first, which people don't want to hear that word, but it is a very Uranian word. It's kind of an inward, like, I don't know. I don't know if I can deal with that, or I don't know if that makes sense to me. And that grows. Now, sometimes Uranus just hits you like a lightning strike. And that feeling inward is usually that, it is a quick, strong feeling. Sometimes, especially when it's in a fixed sign, it has to hit you quite a few times. So that would be a really great question for the full moon time, which was Monday. And this whole week, because like these energies last for quite a while, for a few days. It's like the vibration, just keeps like that. So where am I looking for freedom? Okay. Number 6 question for reflection is, where do I feel I'm at a crossroads? This is probably the biggest, most pertinent, star it, asterisk, fireworks going off right now, biggest question of the week. This pertains to the Jupiter square Saturn that happened on Tuesday at 3:46 p.m. This is in the mutable, double-bodied signs. It was going from Gemini to Pisces, which are both signs that we change things in. Something's come. So cardinal signs are starters. It's something that you start. It's a plan or something you put together and you're wanting to take action. Fixed signs are things that where you maintain that plan and you stay fixed. You're like, no, this is my goal. This is what I'm doing. I am not moving off course. And then the mutable or double-bodied signs are the signs where you're like, okay, that part worked and that part worked. This part needs a little tweaking. That part didn't work at all. And I'm going to kind of change it up, because after mutable signs come cardinal signs again. So you're trying to figure out what you're going to change up to create the new plan and start that process again. Now, Jupiter, Saturn squares don't happen that often. And you want to go back to December 21st of 2020 and the sign of Aquarius in your chart. What house does Aquarius rule? What does that represent? What do you feel like the seeding point for what's happening, or what happened on the 20th of August was then? That's a seeding point. That's when the two came together as one body and started a whole new 14-year-ish cycle. Take that information, and now, and Aquarius is also about changing things, finding something better for the whole. So an Aquarius, it was an Aquarius full moon. You'll see with astrology, everything just kind of flows together and it's crazy. Like this, whoever put this plan together is a mastermind. So we had an Aquarius full moon. We had a Leo. That's about like the y'all and me. And how can we bring it together? So now when we're having a Jupiter square Saturn, and we have the seeding point in Aquarius of how can we as a community do this better? And I'm going to try to come up with a plan, because Leo's in polarity, and see what works for me. And then I want to take it out and teach others and help others and maybe help society as a whole. That is Aquarius. Where is that in your chart? What house does that rule? Because that will give you a clue, as will where is Saturn in your chart. What house, what sign, that will give you a clue as to what this theme is for you, because you would put Aquarius together and Gemini and Pisces. So Aquarius, Pisces, Gemini. They're all working together right now for this. We're going to have more steps through the 14 years. This is the first point where there was maybe some friction since Now, I'm not saying there hasn't been friction in your life, right? But since December 21st, the equinox of 2020, think that's when we were all kind of at the end of COVID and things were, to me, calming down. I don't know about everyone else. And it was at the 0-degree mark, which is also not common. So Saturn was sitting at 0 degrees, Jupiter came in, and hello, at 0 degrees Aquarius, this is the seeding point. We all know 2020 was pretty, at least for me, it's like, it's pretty easy to remember where I was in December of 2020 and what was going on. What is crazy and totally astrology cool is that Pluto is at 0 degrees Aquarius right now. Pluto is about changing, transforming, something dying and coming back alive in you. So what is transforming? What is changing in that Aquarius sign and house for you that is also playing out right now in Gemini and Pisces? So for me, it's kind of an easy, in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, that person said I talk about myself too much. So I'm like, okay. I get paranoid. But like I said, go watch a different channel. So my Aquarius rules my 5th house, which is kids. And through this time, the relationship with kids has been changing. 6th house is Pisces for me. 9th house is Gemini for me. So 5th house can also be creative endeavors, blah, 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 right? But for me, I can put the story together really easily. What is changing and transforming with my kids that is going to correlate to my day-to-day work, things I do, that is also having to do with my morals, my philosophies, my higher 9th house stuff, which is actually where astrology sits. So I'm really have time now to push more of my astrology. That is changing, that is transforming, that's going to be coming out. And I'm feeling, what did I feel? Like, what's hit a crossroads? Well, for me, it's like, no, I got to do this now. I got to do it. Not only do I want to, but I have to. And then where's it going to go from there? So I'm going to recap these questions really quickly for you. Like I said, write them down, reflect, think. It's not always mine. Next week, I'll try to come up with other stories. And if you have any, please share them. So number 1 was, did I have an aha moment? Number 2, did something come between me and getting something done? Number 3, did I think through something and come up with a solution I feel good about? ... For now. Number 4, have I hit my limit in a relationship? Number 5, where am I looking for freedom? And number 6, where do I feel I'm at a crossroads? I would love to hear your feedback. If you enjoyed this, if you want to keep watching it, please like and subscribe. My phone is going crazy. It's like, oh my gosh. Okay. Please like and subscribe, help me grow. I want to really start putting stuff out like this and really helping people understand the energies, how they feel they're surrounding us all the time, and how you can stop and really work through it. I feel like it's such an empowering tool. So have a great day. Love you all. You're all amazing humans. Mwah.